That's it. I've had it. This was getting too big. It's time for bigger premises. I needs me a bigger and better workshop. It's time to build Orky Town. By me's thinking, I reckons we's got 3 days till those big old golden beakies rock up. So come on boys, roll out. Let's get the digs we deserves. So I'm going to start from the ground up with this build. Target is a foldable 4 foot by 4 foot board of Orky Town terrain in 3 days. Best get cracking. So I started off with 2 4 foot by 2 foot 9mm thick MDF boards and some hinges. I got mine from B&Q. I lined up 3 equally distant hinges on what will be the underside of the board and screwed them down, just eyeballing it. As I found out, the screws were a bit long for this job. I ain't no craftsman, I'm an Orky crafter, ain't I? So I took to the pointy ends of the screws with a hacksaw and just levelled them off. There you go, job's a good one. It don't matter anyway, because that part of the board's going to be covered up with a thin layer of foam. I also picked up some 5mm thick sheets of extruded polished styrene, which are cut to fit and stuck down with some cheap as chips, no more nails from Home Bargains. Result. I grabbed some 1mm thick cardstock from Home Bargains too. On reflection, some heavier duty card would have been better. I cut an 8" by 8" square of card and tried to give it a suitably industrial look. With my dodgy Orky maths, I worked out that I'd probably need 36 of these to cover the entire board. So using the first as a template, I traced them all out, using the same original. This was super tedious work, but time flies when you've got a decent audiobook playing and an idea starting to blossom. Don't worry, I ain't going to show you me tracing them all out. I laid them all out on the board and by happy circumstance realised that the excess card on each piece was almost exactly 4 inches long, so made for an awesome walkway look, so I jumped on it. Sometimes things go wrong and sometimes they just fall into place. This time I was lucky. Lovely. So I cracked on cutting out all the centre pieces of the card to give it that lovely recessed look for that real industrial feel. Oi you git, time to change that blade is looking a bit dull. A super sharp blade is super important for this part. I also got some of this tape that I think builders use for joining plasterboard, but I'm not sure. It's going to be a lot quicker and cheaper than my usual cross-stitch board I use for metal flooring. So I stuck the tape to the 4-inch excess pieces on each board, then cut out some more card to create a walkway effect. Then set about trimming off the excess. Lovely. So, same process as the larger pieces with the smaller bits which measure 4 inches by 8 inches. I traced them all out using the original as a template for all of them. I then cut out all the centres as before. I used some of these excess bits that I cut out as centre pieces on these to raise it up and give it a bit more depth. Well, at least you're taking your own bloody advice and change that blade. That looks a bit easier. So that's all the pieces all laid out. Lovely, looking good. I changed a little bit later on and put some more of the tape underneath the centre pieces to give it the metal grating effect all the way over the board. I then stuck it all down using the no more nails, which was good, but I ran out, and the impatient bugger I am couldn't wait to get more, so I stuck the top pieces on with PVA, which in hindsight was a bad idea, but it all worked out in the end. As you can see, after a coat of Mod Podge and black paint and a scattering of play sand, we got some warping going on. This is where patience and some slightly thicker cardstock would have helped. So while I mulled over what the hell I was going to do to fix this, I thought, let's get on with something I really enjoy. Let's make some terrain to put on here. Foam, look at all that lovely foam, courtesy of my lovely brother. Cheers, Glenn. So with all that lovely foam and a load of other detritus that was destined for the recycle bin or the tip, I started making some beautiful buildings. So I finally got to crack out my brand new souped up custom mega glue gun, courtesy of my beautiful wife. So I got to it, sticking various bits of foam together with a beautiful glue gun, topping it off with some of that tape. Then I proceeded to peel off countless amounts of backing paper off all sorts of cardboard and got to sticking it all over the foam. No real process here, just let your creative juices run free. So I scattered some various bits around on the board, and I did loop Mel's workshop gate and the big tall circular chimney stack from a previous build. But then it was time to start work on Mel's new workshop. So I wanted to give him an upgrade, fitting of the biggest mech around, so I tried to give him a bit more of a factory feel. Then I gave it all a quick prime with some black Vallejo primer. Then I started slapping on some paint, stipping it on some Evil Sun's Scarlet, some Lolthern Blue and some Avalan Sunset. Then it was some watered down Vallejo Rust, Typhus Corrosion to give it that battered orky feel. You can see the tape here on the right, once it's primed up, gives a lovely metallic grating effect, as opposed to the granny grating on the left, which is still good but costs a lot more money. I then went round all the grating on the board with a black wash and picked out the concrete struts in between with grey craft paint mixed with some sand. I left the far right hand corner the original dusty look, just to give the board some variation. At this point I was only 2.5 days in, so I thought, right, time to make a backdrop, why the hell not? So I stuck a load of cardboard on a piece of foam 4 foot long, then gave it a quick prime with some black Rust-Oleum rattle can primer. So then I checked for the good fit. Lovely, looks perfect. Time to slap on some paint. Same process as before, but this time I used a few weathering powders as well. And what Orky Town wouldn't be complete without a little bit of graffiti. So all in all, the total build in the end took 3.5 days. It didn't matter in the end after all. The bloody golden beakies never turned up. Oh well, all's well that ends well. I'm really pleased with the results, and if I hadn't have had the deadline, I'd never have got this finished. This would have taken me months normally. So I hope you like what you've seen. If you do, hit subscribe for some more. Maybe I'll do some painting tutorials on my weathered boarding. Let me know if you want to see that. And cheers guys, see you on the next one. Could be fun. It's looking pretty cool. The only other thing is on the entrance there, behind the shutter door, I've taken a photo of Melanie's workshop. I'm going to try and print it so it looks like Mel's inside his workshop. We'll see if that works or not. I want to do a bit more graffiti and some signs. Maybe I want to make this the ammo shop. Maybe this one can be the armour shop over here. Or maybe even the orc hairdressers. The squig or hair squigs shop. But there we go. That's the board. All done. Ready for action. But unfortunately we're not playing custodians now. Grandfather Nurgle might have inflicted something over there. We're waiting to see on tests. Everyone's healthy, don't worry. But yeah, so Glenn's had to go into quarantine, but we'll see. But I'm pretty sure he's all fine.